Hello, this is the TradeSite US stocks and futures market preview for the rest of the week, Thursday and Friday, the 4th and 5th of April 2019. As usual, we don't typically do a market preview for Friday. This week will be no as we wrap up the week, and it's been kind of a slow week, so there's really nothing to talk about overall. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market and futures form. Got a lot of 9-bar, almost 4 now, 9-bar startup phases just in the first 3 months of the year on the daily chart, and we had a 13 sell signal, and it didn't do much. It paused us a bit. It was the only sign of a pullback, but we really kind of progressed higher, approaching the all-time highs on the S&P. Unfortunately, a lot of the days have been flat intraday, and they've been gap up days, and that is not really tradable. It's also not usually indicative of a bull market. In other words, usually a bull market is a small gap down, and then people start buying, and you get a lot of opportunities to go out there and trade. When you gap up and sit, it just means a lack of sellers overnight, and you don't really get an opportunity to do anything in the market. So it's less of a bull market, even though the chart certainly looks like you're heading up. So it's been kind of an annoying market. We'll look at the intraday action in a few minutes. Let's go through the daily charts and see what happened. Crude oil down 5 cents. That's a blip. Gold up 70 cents. Also a blip. S&P cash gain just 6 points. Not much. Closed lower than it opened. NASDAQ 100 up 45. Closed right about where it opened. SOX up 32. That's new all-time highs on the SOX, but again on a gap up. Biotech's up 18. Russell 2000 up 7.5 points. That's nowhere near all-time highs. As a matter of fact, it's basically mid-range for the last year. The VIX up 38 cents to 1374. The trend closes at 1.35. That puts the 10-day at 1.16, which is not anywhere near a signal for us. 2.5 billion shares on the NASDAQ. One of the heaviest volume days we've seen in a month, and yet it didn't lead to much action. And we've been seeing the late volume days, and they also don't lead to much action. So what are you going to do? Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ plus 566. So more stocks slightly up than down. On the New York plus 498. Google gains $5.27. Apple up $1.33. Mid-range for the last year. Netflix up $2.03. Slightly upper mid-range for the last year. Amazon up 679. Tesla up 593. This is still in the lower half of the last year. Facebook lost 66 cents after trying to break out to new 5-month highs. Goldman Sachs up $3.36. This is in the lower half of the last year's range. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, back down $1.08 after gapping up and making some new highs recently. Dow was up 39 points. All right, let's look at the intraday action. So here's the 5-minute chart. You can see how flat we were on Tuesday, and then we gapped up on Wednesday. We had a 13 sell signal in the first candle. That pulled us back for about 45 minutes. We finally made it back about an hour and a half into new highs. Tried to break out, and then it was lunchtime. Then we went dead flat. Late in the lunch hour, as we're coming out of lunch, we kind of rolled over. Came all the way back down, filled the gap, and then we got a 13 buy signal. That's impressive. We haven't seen this in a while because we haven't had a lot of action, and here we finally did get enough range that you could get a 13 sell signal to start the day from most of the count being on yesterday, and then a 13 buy signal at the end of the day, and it was the low of the day. NASDAQ version of this, fairly similar, although it never quite filled the gap, so we'll have to be aware of that for tomorrow. Okay, so Thursday and Friday ahead of us, last 2 days of the first week of the quarter. Not the most exciting first week of the quarter ever. Not a lot of data except for the unemployment rate ahead. So we've got challenger job cuts at 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. Weekly initial and continuing jobless claim numbers at 8:30. Natty gas at 10:30. We've got the non-farm employment number with the unemployment rate at 8:30 and consumer credit at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's what's left this week on Thursday and Friday. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading